All right, today we're going deep, literally. We're descending into a mystery that's been carved from stone, hidden for centuries deep beneath an Italian city. It's an amazing story about ancient engineering, profound beliefs, and the cutting edge tech that's finally bringing it all into the light.
So let's kick things off with a question to get us started on this journey. What if a well wasn't actually for water? What if instead it was built as a passage, a gateway to a whole other world?
Well, deep under the beautiful city of Orvieto, in Italy, that's exactly what archaeologists are starting to map out. This isn't just some well. We're talking about an entire subterranean necropolis, a literal city for the dead that's been hidden for millennia. So let's begin our descent. We're in a city that's famously built on this soft volcanic limestone. For an ancient civilization, this was basically the perfect canvas to get to work and carve out a whole secret world, right under the feet of everyone living up above. And this is it, the Pozzo della Cava, or the Cava Well. Now, if you're standing at the top, you're just thinking, wow, what an incredible piece of engineering. But as you go deeper, you start to realize this is way more than a well. It's the entrance to a dark, vertical labyrinth that connects a whole series of hidden caves and tombs. So you gotta ask, right? Who on earth built this? And why? I mean, why would you blend this unbelievable engineering skill with these really deep beliefs about the afterlife? To get that, we need to talk about the people who made it happen, the Etruscans.
So, the Etruscans, they were around way before the Romans, and they were, no joke, master engineers. But here's the thing, their structures weren't just built to last in this world. They were absolutely focused on what came next. We know from their elaborate tombs that they believed the soul's journey continued, and for them, the boundary between the living and the dead wasn't some solid wall. It was more like a thin, permeable veil.
So you see, this well was so much more than just a structure. It was a physical meeting point where their technical genius literally met their spiritual world. It was a tangible, carved from stone connection between the living and the dead. Okay, so how on earth do you map something like this? I mean, it's dark, it's complex, it's probably dangerous. You can't just wander in there with a tape measure. Well, the answer is this really cool mix of super modern technology and ancient architecture. Researchers are actually using artificial intelligence to pierce through that darkness and see this underground city in a way nobody has ever been able to before. Here's how they do it. First, they bring in these high-tech laser scanners that capture millions upon millions of data points, mapping every single surface with incredible accuracy. Then, an AI sifts through that mountain of information to build a perfect digital twin of the necropolis. But, and this is the really wild part, the AI then goes a step further. It helps visualize what researchers call speculative shadows, which is basically a way of recreating how these dark spaces might have actually been used centuries ago. And this is what's so brilliant about using AI here. On one hand, you get the hard science, the absolute archaeological precision, the raw data of the stone itself. But on the other, the AI helps researchers bring the human story back to life. It can simulate how the flicker of an ancient torch would have lit up carvings, or how sound would have traveled during a ritual. It helps us almost see the human story playing out in those shadows again. Okay, so now we're getting to the very heart of it. We've talked about the what and the how, but now it's time for the really big question, the why. Why go to all this trouble? There's this quote from the research team that just nails it. This wasn't just about honoring the dead or building a practical tomb. This was about confronting something much, much deeper, something totally fundamental to their entire worldview. You have to understand, this underground city wasn't just a place to put bodies. It was a way for the Etruscans to give physical shape to their deepest anxieties. You know, the fear of being forgotten, the fear of chaos in the afterlife, the fear that the gods were just unpredictable. By engineering this incredible space, they weren't just burying their dead, they were trying to impose order on the ultimate unknown. It's their belief system made tangible in stone. So, let's just boil this down. What's the big takeaway here? Right under an Italian city lies this incredible secret. The Pozzo della Cava was a bridge between two worlds, built by master engineers. And today, modern AI is helping us see it not just as a structure, but as a monument to some of our oldest, most human fears. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about, doesn't it? If the Etruscans carved their fears into the stone beneath Orvieto, what other ancient emotions, beliefs, and stories are still waiting to be discovered right under the world we walk on every single day?